qualification. There is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
With just 9 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Sketty is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Sketty is on his practice out lap. Malero has a best lap time of 1:34.055. Malero posted 1:34.055 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
Malero is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Sketty is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Malero has a best lap time of 1:34.055. Malero just posted a 1:34.055 crossing start finish. Malero has a best lap time of 1:34.055. Sketty is on his first practice flying lap. Sketty is getting to grips with the ASRL McLaren F1 GTR in this practice session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. With just 5 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
There is always more time to be found, but Adam is not guaranteed to find it.
Malero posted 3:16.378 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time. Malero just posted a 3:16.378 crossing start finish.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
David Zahn is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. David Zahn is on his practice out lap. Sketty has a best lap time of 1:35.872.
Sketty is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Sketty has a best lap time of 1:35.872.
There is always more time to be found, but Sketty is not guaranteed to find it.
Sketty posted 1:35.872 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
Malero just posted a 1:32.984 crossing start finish. With just 2 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
Malero is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Malero has a best lap time of 1:32.984.
There is always more time to be found, but Malero is not guaranteed to find it.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. David Zahn is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Malero posted 1:32.984 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time. Malero just posted a 3:18.898 crossing start finish. Malero has a best lap time of 1:32.984.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
David Zahn is on his first practice flying lap. David Zahn is in T3A. Zahn is getting to grips with the ASRL McLaren F1 GTR in this practice session. David Zahn is on his first practice flying lap. Sketty has a best lap time of 1:35.872. Sketty posted 4:50.890 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
Sketty is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Sketty just posted a 4:50.890 crossing start finish. With just 2 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
David Zahn has a best lap time of 1:35.895. Stefano Amadei is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Stefano Amadei is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. It's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit, as the drivers rev up their engines and put their skills to the test in the qualifying session. You can feel the tension building. Adam is out on track and getting ready to push for his qualifying time. That ASRL McLaren F1 GTR looks good driving through T3. Adam is looking relatively composed going through T7. It looks like Malero is getting ready to make his move. He's taking his time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. Malero appears focused and prepared driving through T9.
I have always loved this section of the track.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Adam is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right. Adam is expertly commanding that car through T3. Adam is working his way through T6.
If Adam listens closely, the sounds of cheering fans should just barely be audible over the roar of the engine.
The adrenaline is pumping. Stefano Amadei is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
Patience is key in these early moments, Marco. But I have a feeling Stefano is going to make it count.
That ASRL McLaren F1 GTR looks good driving through T7.
When I get some free time after the race, I'm going to park my pudding near T7 with a nice drink and some friends.
Stefano Amadei is keeping his head down through T10.
This is such a great track. I need to make it back here more often.
Malero is on his first flying lap.
It's always impressive to see a driver in the zone like this, Marco. Let's see if he can maintain this pace.
Malero appears focused and prepared driving through T4. Malero is driving through T7. Malero is expertly commanding that car through T10. Malero completes his lap in a time of 1:32.778, currently in P1. Sketty will be looking to use this first hot lap to set a solid time in the standings. Sketty has completed that flying lap in 1:34.207, which is good enough for P2, down 1.429 to the leader. Adam does not look to be improving on this lap. Janet, any thoughts on ways to improve?
He'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
It's clear that Simon of the Desert is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
It's certainly exciting to watch. But let's not forget, the goal is to secure a good starting position for the race.
Simon of the Desert just clocked a 1:39.792, 7.014 off of P1 and good enough for P5. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Adam is driving through T7 and is up 4.7.
Adam needs all the focus and resolve he can muster to maintain.
Adam has just completed that lap in 1:40.580, which is 7.802 off the best time, putting him in P6. Simon of the Desert is in the green by 0.55. Simon of the Desert is in the green by 0.5, making his way through T6. Simon of the Desert is down 0.82 seconds on the way through T8. David Zahn has found an extra 0.11. Simon of the Desert is up 0.42. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 6.717 gap to pole.
David Zahn is 0.37 up driving through T6. David Zahn is now up 0.75 in T8.
There's no guarantee that Zahn can maintain this delta through the rest of the lap.
Malero has improved by 0.49. Malero is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:32.485. Adam is currently up 4.82 going through T7. Adam has improved by 7.54 up through T10.
All we can do now is wish Adam luck as the start-finish line approaches.
Adam is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:31.843. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Kevin Lekmansky has completed that flying lap in 1:33.974, which is good enough for P3, down 2.131 to the leader. Malero will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.426, but that won't stop him from trying.
Simon of the Desert is now up 2.71. Simon of the Desert is in the green by 2.85, making his way through T9.
The rest of this lap is no cakewalk. Let's hope he can keep it up.
Simon of the Desert has some work to do, as his best time of 1:36.334 is only good enough for 6th. Adam is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:31.293.
It may be difficult for him to improve on that, sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. It's far better to drive smooth and smart.
Stefano Amadei is working his way through T4. Simon of the Desert looks to be off the leader by 5.041. Janet, what can he do to improve?
Well, Marco, he'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Sketty is in the green by 0.19. Sketty is driving through T3 and is up 0.17. Kevin Lekmansky is now up 0.1. Kevin Lekmansky is 0.42 up driving through T3. Kevin Lekmansky is currently up 0.16 going through T6. Kevin Lekmansky is now up 0.25 in T8. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session. And there goes Simon of the Desert, currently in P7. He's shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still a chance to improve on that time. That ASRL McLaren F1 GTR looks good driving through T11. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 2.566 gap to pole.
Impressive work from Sketty, who has claimed fifth on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining his composure and push for an even better starting position.
Spot on analysis, Marco. Sketty is positioned well in fifth. It's crucial for him to maintain his focus and defend his position in the upcoming race.
Sketty will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session. Kevin Lekmansky is currently in third during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session. An outstanding display from Adam in this qualification session. He's been on fire, putting in blistering lap times and currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard. It's an impressive performance, showcasing his speed and determination. Adam is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:31.293. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Starting in pole position gives Adam a clear advantage over the rest of the field.
Adam is sure to be excited at his prospects for this race.
Malero will be looking to convert this front row start into a win.
He can't count his chickens before they've hatched. There is a long way to go.
It's Kevin Lekmansky, sitting comfortably in third.
Kevin will be ready to show what he's made of.
Simon of the Desert is lining up fourth.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
On the fifth grid slot we have Sketty.
Sketty will be taking no prisoners today.
Coming in at sixth, we have David Zahn.
Zahn is hoping for a strong result.
The seventh starting position belongs to Stefano Amade, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
It's the medium's tires for Stefano.
The green light signals the beginning of an epic race. As the drivers jostle for position, it's all about keeping their cool under pressure.
Maintaining a safe distance while still pushing for position is a delicate balance. Experience and composure will be vital in these opening moments.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit. I think we are in for a cracking race. Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then. Simon of the Desert will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage.
I'd love to be on track burning some rubber here, Marco.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up. The tensions are high, and no one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap.
I'm looking forward to this one, Marco. Maybe we'll see a return to form for Malero in this outing in USA.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Kevin Lekmansky is right behind Malero, keeping the pressure on for second place.
If Kevin gets any closer, he might as well ask Malero for a piggyback ride.
Stefano Amadei is running 7th, and trying to catch Simon of the Desert.
The racing is getting tight between Stefano and Simon as they battle for P6. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
Sketty is on a mission, chasing Kevin Lekmansky, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. The gap between Sketty and Kevin Lekmansky is widening. It's now up to 0.4 seconds.
He needs to pick up the pace for sure, but that's not always a real possibility.
Every move counts now as Stefano Amadei works to reel in Simon of the Desert and overtake for P6. Oh, this is getting intense. Sketty is just a few car lengths behind Kevin Lekmansky.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
Great driving from Sketty, who has just gained a place and moved up to 3rd.
Yes, Sketty is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Look at that, Kevin Lekmansky is hot on the tail of Sketty. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and hold the phone. A brilliant maneuver from Simon of the Desert, who has just moved up the field. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
You can wish all you want, but I don't think that's how racing works, Janet. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right, but wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for high fives and fist bumps?
The pressure is on as Stefano Amadei tries to catch up to Simon of the Desert. Things are heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to close the gap to Sketty.
It's a game of strategy now as Lekmansky hunts down Sketty. Yet,
Breaking alert. What a move. Kevin Lekmansky has moved up to 3rd.
amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Things are going according. Hold the phone. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. The battle for P3 is heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to catch Sketty in P3.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Lekmansky is really walking that fine line.
The pursuit is on, so hold the phone. Superb driving from Simon of the Desert, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Stefano Amadei is giving hold up, breaking info. A great moment for Stefano Amadei, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. What do you think, Janet? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Marco. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Kevin Lek. Breaking update. Great driving from Sketty, who has just gained a place and moved up to third.
You can't argue with results like that. Sketty is really making his mark on this race.
Sketty is staying focused while chasing Kevin Lekmansky in P2.
This is where every inch counts. Sketty is pushing hard to close the gap on Lekmansky.
It's breaking update. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with David Zahn gaining places and Sketty losing them. Sketty is looking for a way to close that gap to David Zahn.
Sketty needs to focus to make up that gap to Zahn.
It seems like Sketty is struggling. His last lap time was a bit off the pace of David Zahn. Anyone who says that ASRL is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Sketty is closing in on David Zahn. Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. The gap between Malero and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 2.6 seconds. Sketty is running fourth, and trying to keep up with David Zahn.
With just 0.7 seconds between them, Sketty will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Sketty is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to David Zahn to 0.5 seconds. It's all about consistency for Kevin Lek. Hold on a second. It's true what they say, Janet, you're never completely useless.
Indeed, Marco, you can always be used as a bad example. Yes, he's got to dig deep and find some extra speed if they want to get back into contention. But Zahn is really on a roll right now and is making some great moves. It's going to be a fascinating battle from here on out.
In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
If Sketty isn't careful, he might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Sketty appears to be losing ground on David Zahn. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into T2 to get a good exit and gain some ground.
This is where the mental toughness of Sketty comes into play. He'll need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way.
Malero is trying to catch up to Sketty. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. No room for error here. Sketty is breathing down the neck of David Zahn, waiting for the perfect chance to make his move.
If Sketty gets any closer to Zahn, he'll need to send out wedding invitations.
It's not looking good for Sketty, who is still behind David Zahn, and the gap is increasing. The intensity is off the charts as Malero hounds Sketty, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Fantastic move from Malero, who has just gained a position.
Absolutely. Malero is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
It looks like Malero is pulling away from Sketty. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through T3. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Malero is chasing David Zahn in P2.
Malero is looking to close the 0.5 second gap and make a pass.
Good news for Malero. The gap to Dave. Hold on a second. A great pass for Malero, swapping places with David Zahn to move up the field.
Absolutely. Malero is showing great pace and determination, but he can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Looks like David Zahn is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
It's certainly not going to plan for David Zahn right now, who is struggling to keep up with Malero.
Zahn needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way. If he can close the gap down, he may be able to bring the fight to Malero.
Hey, Janet, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Marco, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn needs to keep Malero in his sights.
Can Zahn close that 0.8 second gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
David Zahn needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Janet, he's just put in a slower lap than Malero.
It will be interesting to see if Malero can keep outpacing David.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Stefano Amadei trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Kevin Lekmansky. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. The gap between Stefano Amadei and Kevin Lekmansky is widening. It's now up to 11.1 seconds.
This is a frustrating situation for Stefano, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Kevin.
Sketty is pushing to main. Hold on a second. I don't think that's the fastest way around Sonoma Raceway long circuit.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 6 kph out there right now.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for David Zahn as there is a big gap ahead.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
David Zahn is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Malero at the moment.
This is not ideal for Zahn, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
A solid performance from Stefano Amadei, who is holding down fifth.
Absolutely. And he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Impressive stuff from Stefano Amadei, who has managed to pull away from Kevin Lekmansky, leaving him in choking in his exhaust fumes. Janet, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Marco. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
Oh, this is getting intense. Sketty is just a few car lengths behind David Zahn. Sketty has just managed to set his fastest lap of the race so far with a lap time of 1 minute.
It's always good to see Sketty improving.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Sketty is right on the heels of David Zahn, and we're in for a wild ride.
The only thing closer than Sketty to Dave right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
Malero is placed second at the moment.
Yes, but Malero has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
This is a thrilling battle as Sketty edges closer to stop the press. What a move. Sketty has moved up to third.
Impressive. Sketty is really showing his skill and determination out there.
David Zahn is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. It seems like David Zahn is struggling and not able to maintain his pace. It's looking good for Adam, sitting in first.
Definitely Marco, but Adam can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. The gap between David Zahn and Sketty is getting smaller.
That's a great effort from Zahn. He'll need to keep up the pressure and see if he can make a move.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
It's a thrilling battle for position as these two drivers get—
Hold up, breaking info. Superb driving from Sketty, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Oh my. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Sketty as they drive through T3A.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Zahn is taking that advice to heart today.
It's not going to plan for David Zahn, who is trailing behind Sketty and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
Zahn needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Kevin Lekmansky in 6th chases after Stefano Amadei. Breaking development. It looks like Kevin Lekmansky has been called into the pits. The pursuit is on. David Zahn is working on that gap to Sketty, determined to claim P3.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Zahn needs to stay patient and wait for Sketty to make a mistake.
It looks like we might get a battle between David Zahn and Sketty.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
Drivers are gonna need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete and the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down. Hold up, breaking info. And David Zahn has just won the place from Sketty. The pressure is on as Sketty tries to catch up to David Zahn. A strong showing from Malero, who is currently second.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Malero has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Things are heating up as Sketty tries to close the gap to David Zahn. Sketty appears to be losing ground on David Zahn. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into T8 to get a good exit and gain some ground.
It's not over yet, but Sketty needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Zahn.
It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Marco. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
Things are going according to plan for Malero, who is currently second.
That's right. Malero can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
Wait, that won't be ideal for Stefano Amadei. The battle for P3 is heating up as Sketty tries to catch David Zahn in P3. It's like Adam has saved all his energy for this final stretch.
You got this, Adam. Keep it cool and bring it home.
And there it is. Adam has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. Fifth is Stefano Amadei. Braking alert. It's looking good for Sketty, who has gained a place after passing Malero. Excellent focus from David Zahn to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Fourth sees Malero. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Marco.
Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Stefano Amadei to take control of the race.
The pressure's on now. Let's see if any of the other drivers can challenge for this spot at the start.
Starting on the front row is a great opportunity for Malero to challenge for the lead.
He can't let that advantage go to waste. He will need to stay focused and keep his eyes on the prize.
In the third position, it's none other than David Zahn,
putting that ASRL McLaren F1 GTR into prime position for the race.
In fourth place, we have Sketty.
Sketty is in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
The fifth place on the grid belongs to Adam, a driver with plenty of experience.
Big things expected for Adam today.
Kevin Lekmansky has qualified sixth.
Another good start for the American driver.
The race is on, and tensions are high as drivers navigate the first lap. One wrong move could lead to a collision in these tight quarters.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Janet, but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is feeling out the drivers around them. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean.
What a beautiful day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit. This is going to be good to watch.
A great moment for Adam, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Yes, Adam is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Kevin Lekmansky is giving it his all, chasing down Adam in P3.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Lekmansky needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
The pursuit is on. Adam is closing the gap on David Zahn, determined to claim P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Can Adam close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
It's a steady race for Adam so far, keeping it clean and maintaining focus.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Adam just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
Every move counts now as Kevin Lekmansky works to reel in Adam and overtake for P3.
It's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Adam. It looks like Adam is pulling away from David Zahn. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through T2.
He needs to pick up the pace for sure, but that's not always a real possibility.
It's a brilliant day for racing here at Sonoma Raceway Long Circuit. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
Look at that. Kevin Lekmansky is hot on the tail of David Zahn. The gap between Kevin Lekmansky and David Zahn is growing. It's now up to 0.5 seconds.
This is where the mental toughness of Lekmansky comes into play. He'll need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way.
This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are, wait. Oh dear, Stefano Amadei has had an incident.
Stefano is not going to be happy about that.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Kevin Lekmansky is chasing David Zahn in P3.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curves.
Braking alert. Big gains for Kevin Lekmansky as they move up the field, leaving David Zahn behind. David Zahn, braking alert. A brilliant maneuver from David Zahn, who has just moved up the field. Looks like Sketty is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Sketty is starting to climb all over the back of David Zahn. Any closer and he may need to pop the boot. The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down David Zahn with everything he's got. A setback for Sketty, who has just been passed.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Sketty needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right.
While David Zahn is not under immediate threat from Sketty, he can still benefit from staying focused. Any slip-up could lose him the position.
That's very true, and Sketty knows that as well. He's got to drive his own race and wait for Zahn to make a mistake to have any chance of overtaking.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors. Hold on a second. An impressive showing from Sketty, who has gained positions and left David Zahn in the dust. Oh, wait. Great driving from David Zahn, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th. Fantastic move from David Zahn, who has just gained a position. Sketty has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with David Zahn. I expect his only hope at this point is that David makes an error. It looks like Sketty is making a move. The gap to David Zahn is now down to 0.4 seconds. Well, it doesn't look like Adam is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Malero. Sketty is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. It's not looking good for Sketty, who is still behind David Zahn, and the gap is increasing. Adam is running second, and trying to catch Malero. The battle for P4 is heating up as Sketty tries to catch David Zahn in P4.
We'll have to wait to see if Sketty can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
This is a thrilling battle as Adam edges closer to Malero in their fight for P1. Adam has just put in a faster lap than Malero, so that's going to give him something to worry about. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Sketty should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to David.
Every move counts now as Adam works to reel in Malero and overtake for P1. It's game on now. Adam has closed the gap to Malero. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. Sketty is staying focused while chasing David Zahn in P4.
Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The pursuit is on. Adam is closing the gap on Malero, determined to claim P1. It's certainly not going to plan for Adam right now, who is struggling to keep up with Malero.
Adam needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way. If he can close the gap down, he may be able to bring the fight to Malero.
The gap between David Zahn and Sketty is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from David to even allow Sketty to get a look in.
Sketty certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from David.
Look at that. Adam is hot on the tail of Malero. Sketty is giving it his all, chasing down David Zahn in P4. Adam is on a mission, chasing Malero, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. This is where the race gets really interesting. Sketty is closing in on David Zahn. This is what it's all about, folks. Adam is in hot pursuit of Malero, who's just trying to stay ahead. Braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from Sketty. This could be costly.
Sonoma Raceway long circuit is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Adam is chasing Malero in P1. It's all about consistency for David Zahn, who is currently fourth. The adrenaline is pumping as Adam gets within striking distance of Malero in their race for first.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
Adam could be on a charge here, Janet. He's just put in a quicker lap than Malero.
We will have to see if Malero has got any answers for that.
Malero is looking for a way to close that gap to Adam.
We'll have to wait to see if Malero can get into drafting range.
Malero is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Adam at the moment. Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Malero is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
A solid performance from Adam, who is holding down first.
Yes, but Adam has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Impressive driving from Adam, who has managed to extend his lead over Malero. It looks like Malero will have to regroup and try to make up that lost ground. It's looking good for David Zahn, sitting in fourth. It looks like Sketty is starting to catch up to David Zahn. The gap is now down to 6.4 seconds.
That's a worrying sign for David.
Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at ASRL. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that ASRL really is the place to be for top quality racing.
David Zahn is placed fourth at the moment. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Kevin Lekmansky, who is currently in P3.
Absolutely, Lekmansky in third will need to be patient and work carefully to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as he can't afford to take unnecessary risks, and that might lead to an off or damaging their car.
Good news for Kevin Lekmansky, the gap to Malero has decreased. It's now down to 6.7 seconds. A strong showing from David Zahn, who is currently fourth.
Definitely Marco, but David can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
He can't hold on. David Zahn is losing time to Sketty.
This is where the pressure really starts to mount on Zahn. He'll need to stay focused and not make any mistakes.
Sketty has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with David Zahn. I expect his only hope at this point is that David makes an error. The gap between Sketty and David Zahn is getting smaller. This will require some expert driving from Sketty. David Zahn is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. Things are going according to plan for David Zahn, who is currently fourth. He's pulling away. David Zahn is increasing the gap to Sketty. A solid performance from David Zahn, who is holding down fourth.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Dave has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
It's all about consistency for Malero, who is currently second.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Some great driving from Malero, who has increased his lead over Kevin Lekmansky and is starting to put some distance between them. Adam is placed first at the moment. Excellent work from Adam, who has managed to increase his lead over Malero.
That's exactly what Adam needed to do.
It's looking good for Adam, sitting in first.
That's right. Adam can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure Sketty is going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. He's not giving up without a fight. It's not going to plan for Sketty, who is trailing behind David Zahn, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. A strong showing from David Zahn, who is currently fourth. Oh no, Janet, look at this. Sketty is closing in on David Zahn. The gap is now just 4.6 seconds.
This is a real test for Zahn. He'll need to find some extra pace and hold off Sketty to have a shot at winning this race.
Things are going according to plan for Malero, who is currently second.
Yes, but Malero has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Things are starting to get tense as Kevin Lekmansky manages to close the gap to Malero. It's now down to 4.3 seconds.
Can Malero keep Kevin behind? Let's see.
Wait, now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. A solid performance from David Zahn, who is holding down fourth. The gap between David Zahn and Sketty is getting smaller. It's now down to 2.5 seconds. Superb driving from David Zahn, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
That's what we like to see. Zahn is really showing his class today.
David Zahn is placed third at the moment.
Definitely Marco, but Zahn can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Kevin Lekmanski as there is a big gap ahead.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Wow, Malero is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
He'll be the one celebrating at the finish line.
The leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Malero.
What a result for Malero. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that performance, and rightly so. He really put in the work and it's paid off in spades.
Impressive second-place finish for Kevin Lekmanski.
Intense race, but Kevin held his nerve and earned a great second place.
Well done to David Zahn for securing third place on the podium. Sketty ended in fourth.